guys, C here. Thank you so much for clicking to join me in today's video. As with any recap season, not only should you highlight the good, which I did earlier in the week, make sure you check out that video if you haven't already, but I think it's a little helpful to highlight the bad too. Now, this year was definitely my sewing year, a lot of progress and progression, and I think you guys have noticed that as well. But there were a handful of makes that just didn't pan out. So in this video, I'm going to be highlighting my 7 biggest sewing fails. Now let's kick things off with the 7th fail. Using McCall's 7931, I made a beautiful satin slip skirt. I used a poly satin that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. Oh, caveat, I don't have any of these makes. I have 2, but one is drowning somewhere in laundry. It is clean. It has been washed. But I've got a load of baskets that need to be folded, and I'm quite sick of looking for it. The other item I have given to my daughter, and I don't know what she's done with it, and it's nap time, and I refuse to go wake her up to ask her where it is for this video. So, the rest of them have been recycled or reused or disposed of. Now, back to the satin slip skirt. It was beautiful. It was like a grayish blue color, very well executed. I did my due diligence and I let it hang overnight. I tried to hit that 24-hour mark, but overnight it is. The zipper was not perfect, but the invisible zipper was very well done. It was a beautiful garment. Couldn't wear it. I could not put that flipping skirt on. I couldn't step into it. I couldn't shimmy into it. I couldn't put it over my head and pull it down. That thing did not fit. It was a complete waste of time. Now, I cut a size 14 based on my finished garment measurements. I should have been making a 16 or 18. But in my head, I'm like, why would I make it 18? Like, that doesn't make sense. That's way far off. I should have made it 18. I definitely should. I hold most of my weight in my midsection, and I like my garments to fit very comfortably around my waist. I sit down at a desk, I'm up chasing after my kids. I just like to be comfortable in that area. And I should have cut an 18, at least to see how it looked, because that sucker, there is no amount of sucking it in, no form of shapewear to get in that skirt. Nope. Total waste. That's number 7. Number 6. Number 6 is simplicity 9716. I've made WeCeeStyle the cardigan before. I made that last year and that was beautiful. I still have it in my closet. It's beautiful. But we're not talking about that one. We're talking about View A. And that is the simple tank. For this pattern, I used a green knit, very simple knit fabric, you know, nothing extravagant. I used it to make a mini capsule wardrobe, right? So this pattern, in addition to 2 or 3 others, I made various pieces that could all work interchangeably, solo or a mix of things to create a beautiful outfit. That tank is terrible. And it wasn't terrible until I had to attach the armhole facing and the neck facing. The neck facing, and that's the garment. I still have it. I wear it around the house. I'm not going to wear it outside the house anymore unless it is completely covered by the tie front wrap that I made to wear with it. Unless it is covered with that garment, I don't wear it outside the house unless it is like an undershirt, like wearing under a sweatshirt or something else. It is a flawed mess. The neck band is gaping. It is puckering. I use zigzag stitches, which was working at first, but then when it came to doing the neck facing, it was terrible. The armhole facing, there's a hole. It's rough. It's pretty bad. And yeah. My next sewing fail, number 5, top 5. The dress that I made to attend my brother's wedding, and I made a solo dedicated video to that make. The pattern that I used was Simplicity 9917, a Mimi G pattern, and I made View B. Straps, belts and all. This is one of the patterns that I will never make again. I'm good on it. I do still have the dress somewhere or another, but I've already started to scrap that fabric for pockets or linings for other garments because I'm just good on it. I'm good on it. That dress was way too time consuming. So that's one of the reasons why I'll never make that pattern again. Another thing, the bottom, it has a hem band. Like it's not just a hem around the bottom, but it is a band that is then folded in half and folded inside the garment, and then it covers your raw. And it's too much. It's just too much. The zipper was a mess. I took the dress to have it dry cleaned before I wore it. I don't know why I did that. I could have just laundered it here at home, did a gentle cycle, and hung it to dry. I don't know why I took it to the dry cleaners, but they broke it and did not tell me that they broke the strap. So I didn't realize that the strap was broke until I went to put it on and they had it hanging by a safety pin. Needless to say, I didn't funnel any energy into calling them and fussing at them. Instead, I left them a very thorough review online, because all they had to do was tell me. And that way I could have better prepared myself. I could have fixed it. So I am at the wedding with a flipping safety pin in the back of the dress. But the zipper was a mess. That band across the bottom was a mess. The belt, oh my God. First, I thought the belt was too small. Then my husband showed me that I am fixing the belt. I am strapping myself in the wrong way. So that was one thing. But then I felt like the belt was too narrow to cover the gathers around the bodice. So the gathers around the bodice, my gathers are never, the perfect straight line. I got a little every once in a while, okay, right? So I like the belt or a tie or a sash to kind of conceal that in any garments where that may be an issue. Couldn't do it with that dress because the belt's so narrow. That dress was honestly like the bane of my existence. I couldn't wait to be done with that dress. And I would have thought that it would be the fabric that would kind of tick me off. No. It was just the whole pattern, the whole execution. Everything about it sucked. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. Number 4. Number 4 is a Sherpa, a lime green Sherpa jacket that never came to fruition. It is the only make that I have made that did not exist. Like I didn't have a finished garment. It's the only thing I have attempted to make that I did not have a finished garment. First of all, it looked like Grinch just spit up in my she shed. The Sherpa was everywhere, in my hair, in my face, in my mouth, across my sewing machine, all in the she shed, all in the sewing machine. The Sherpa was a mess. I used McCall's 8019 and I used View A, but I didn't want it color blocked. I didn't want 2 other colors of fabric. I didn't want this jacket made out of 3 different colors. I wanted out of 1 color. So I used that lime green Sherpa to make everything, right? I was getting so confused when it came to doing the little diagonals across the top. I toyed with that thing for a very long time. Took a break, went back, and just attempted again, and I said the hell with it. I took that fail really, really, really hard. That was a tough pill to swallow. That is number 4. the only make I could not make. Now, number 3, my third biggest fail of the year was another well-executed piece. This was a bag, Simplicity 9908, and I got this pattern to tackle and make on my Make 9 challenge. I wanted to make a handbag, but I'm not at the point where I wanted to do a well-executed leather bag or a structured bag. I thought since this was an easy to sew pattern that this would just get my feet wet, right? You know what? This is what I've given my daughter, and since I have it, I have to go in the house and get it. I have to show it to you. Let me go find it. I'm back. Simplicity, and I'm out of breath. Simplicity at 9908. Handbag, right? I was intrigued by this pattern and sparked to purchase it because Brittany J. Jones posted a reel. I made view C, and I had plenty of cotton fabric left over after batch cutting my apron that I still haven't made. Apron is batch cut. It's floating around here somewhere. But anyway, cotton fabric, plenty. All I needed for this was webbing. I didn't want to deal with a zipper. I didn't want to deal with square rings. Webbing it is. View C. What is this? What the hell is this? Now, I did say I wasn't really interested in structure, but my stuff is gonna hang out. What is this? You know what? Let put the remote in here. You see this bag? What is this? You know what it is? It is a bag for my daughter to carry her baby doll because I have no use for this. I don't know if I was bamboozled with the subliminal advertising. I don't know if I did it wrong. I couldn't have. I was doing this with fresh eyes, not pressured, not hurried, plenty of time, reading the directions. I took a break, came back at this, a couple days later, revisited the steps, thought I was doing everything quite well. It is collapsible, and that is supposed to be the selling feature. But what's in the hippity hop is this? Sewing fail. Sewing fail. Because we'll leave it at that. Number 2, my second sewing fail, and another garment that I don't have because it has been scrapped for, no, I'm lying. This one was discarded. I used New Look 6692. I used a crepe fabric for that pattern. It was yellow, it was floral, tons of fabric. My first mistake was cutting the wrong size. I cut a size 16. That was based off my bust, my waist, and my hips. So I read the garment measurements. I read it. I cut according to such. The dress was way too big. So I'm trying to size down. It has a side invisible zipper. So imagine trying to slim the dress down, and you want to slim it down symmetrically, but you already have your zipper in and you refuse to take your zipper out. So I did that. Then my neckline would not lay taut across my chest. It flopped dead in the center. So I'm trying to take it in as much as I can. That's not helping. I'm trying to put on padded bras, trying to compensate. I can't. It does not. It's too big. It's too big. It's a mess. This pattern, the dress, was so time consuming. So you had the side invisible zipper. You had, it was lined in the inside. You had gathers around the bodice, gathers around the bottom, ruffles, a huge hem. Now I did redeem myself with McCall's 8358, which was a similar pattern. They are very, very similar. The only difference is that dress doesn't have a zipper, but everything else, they resemble the two. But for this one, Mother's Day, I was cute. And after that, never touch that dress again, except to dispose of it. Because that dress was terrible. And it looked a mess in the inside. Oh my God. It's number 2 for a reason. And now, my biggest sewing fail for 2024 is the poly satin collared top that I made at the beginning of the year, back in February, to cross off a make from my Make 9, which was creating a garment using buttonholes and buttons. For that make, I used Simplicity 9701. And this was one of those easy to sew patterns that at that moment, I really didn't think was easy to sew. I struggled with that garment. I struggled with everything except the flipping buttonholes and buttons. So I use a poly satin that I purchased from Hobby Lobby, right? 2 yards of it. The poly satin stained oh so quickly. I go to wash my hands, water everywhere. I put lotion on, it's a stain, and it is a stain that is there, so it won't come out until I wash it. That fabric was just, that fabric is beautiful, but for everyday use or to wear often or to wear all day, it is impractical because it stained oh so bad. The collar was, I think this pattern uses the burrito method, if memory serves me correctly. I did a whole solo dedicated video on this make. So definitely, when you finish this one, definitely go watch it if you want to see my pain and my angst. But the collar was a nightmare for me. And the collar was so ill-fitting. It looked really bad. You know, the collar is out. You see all the imperfections on that collar. Then the sleeves. One sleeve ended up being significantly shorter than the other. So to compensate for that, I got some ostrich feathers because I was like, I'm not going to take the sleeve off, go buy more fabric, and redo the sleeve and reattach. I'm not doing that. So for the sake of being able to wear it, let me get some feathers to wrap around the sleeves to compensate for the shortage. The ostrich sleeves fell everywhere. I am raining ostrich sleeves, okay? I go to talk, I'm sitting there, they're flying across my face. It was a nightmare. Great experience to have, to realize all my many issues. But I did not wear that top out in public. I refused to. It was such a fugly, messed up garment that I refused to wear it outside my house. It also caused me the most angst out of anything I've made. Now, all my good success could not help me forget that make, because that make was just that darn awful. I got it done, and then that garment went straight into the trash can. I have no regrets. No regrets doing it. It lived its life. It served its purpose. I made a check on my Make 9, and that was it. So, those are all of my biggest sewing fails, my 7 biggest fails for 2024. And considering everything that I made, I'm actually kind of happy it was just 7. I mean, it could have been worse. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely give me a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Join the fam. I'd love to have you. Now, earlier in the week, I shared with you all of my highlights, okay? All of my favorite makes of the year. Now I'm sharing with you my biggest fails of the year. Next week, I'm going to start sharing with you everything that I made, the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? So definitely make sure that you come back. As always, I love you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.